What happens when you are calmly sitting at home, drinking your coffee, thinking about what you should draw next, when you receive an unexpected call for help? An old friend appears from behind your chair, bringing upsetting news about his home, a small town you fondly remember from a very eventful previous visit. Pigtown has been hit by a terrible, dark blight, and you are called to jump into action. I'm Juana, and I draw Porchi. And this is a storytelling game following the 31 prompts of an Inktober drawing challenge. It all starts with prompt number 1, poisonous. This became part of the story's title, but what is an Inkblabber? We'll find out if we follow Juana, Porchi, and the 3 Inkoinks into Pigtown on a new Pigtober adventure. Have you been to Pigtown before? At the end you'll find the link to our previous adventure. So let's turn the page. We start with a tranquil scene. Juana is peacefully drinking tea from a cup that has "Keep Calm" and "Pig" written on it. She's probably thinking about the Inktober challenge prompts, and we can spot behind her on the wall the prompt list and the calendar. It's October 2nd. We can also see an old newspaper page from Pigtown Gazette taped on the wall, and the headlines are "Juana and Porchi catch criminals." This hints to Porchi and Juana's first adventure from 1 year before. But here comes Porchi, and things are tranquil no more. Porchi has some news, and it seems they are not good news. The third prompt is roasted, and especially at the very start of the story, it was difficult to use in the plot, so I used a trick, a newspaper page. The newspaper is a fun thing to draw, and I got to use the figurative meaning of the prompt. Also, with a page full of text, I could get some more information to the reader to get things started quickly. In Pigtown Adventures, there is no character dialogue. It is a silent movie type of thing, so instead I use other ways to get text in, as you can see. The headlines in the newspaper announce: "Ink insults smear the town. Poisonous words splattered in ink all over Pigtown upset citizens and cause disturbance." Of course this would upset Porchi, but there's worse. The chief of police states, "3 suspected pigs are missing. If I get my hands on those inkoinkers, they are roasted." See how I got my prompt in? And let's not overlook the rest of the local news. Maybe they will have some bearing on the story. Mad scientist Doc Mudd has been released from prison last week for good behavior. "I'm so sorry," he said. And the storm is announced for the following days. Poor inkoinkers. It's true that they seemed to be a mischievous bunch in the previous year's adventure, and they are literally dripping ink. But Porchi knows them best, and he knows they would not do such a terrible thing. Juana must come to the rescue, clear their names, and discover what is really going on. And the next prompt is spell. It's a word with several meanings, but I have just introduced the problem of insulting words written all over the town, so we can lean into the word spelling meaning. Juana lives in the normal world, but when she follows Porchi, her door becomes a passage to a different place, a town inhabited by pigs, called Pigtown. Pigtown is a nice, peaceful, and surprisingly clean little town, but this time Juana is in for a shock. The houses are all smeared by big black ink offensive writing. Even the entrance to her art studio reads now "Juana Stink Studio" instead of Ink Studio. Pigs on the street have worried, upset faces. Clearly, morale is low. Next prompt, chicken. Porchi takes Juana directly to Fat Sam, his private detective friend from Growhand Alley. He must already be on the case himself, especially as he is also a victim of the terrible plague. They find him mopping the "Fat Sammy's chicken" writing next to his door. Does he have some clue? Let's go into Sam's office. The next prompt was drooling. I solved this page in a somewhat unusual way. Instead of several panels and text bubbles, I divided a large scene into foreground and background. Porchi shows in close-up, drooling at a yummy cake, and in the back, Juana and Sam are talking and the conversation is very visual. Juana is asking about the ink smears, and Sam's speech bubble is actually a panel from which we find out that Sam has seen and followed a black, blobby creature. He saw it disappearing into a manhole on the back alley. There are countless possibilities of building a comic story, and it's fun to explore something different from the classic panel composition, if there is such a thing. This type of comic story, built along prompts, is by itself an experiment, so I recommend it as a place to try out new things. But one rule I have for this game is that each prompt has to have some importance in the story. So here the prompt was drooling, and Porky is drooling at a cake, okay. But I had to make this cake part of the story somehow. Let's see what I did. It seems that the cake was made by Sam for a friend, who is celebrated as the new star of Turtle Club. Turtle Club is a fancy venue owned by Dee, a charming pig Juana has already met in past adventures. They all go together to offer the cake and find Dee exhausted, as in the prompt, after cleaning the club's entrance. And inside the club, in her dressing room, we meet Miss Pearl Merpig, former star of the Great Underwater Show, now a great success in the Aquarium Show of Turtle Club. Both Porky and the lovely Merpig look a bit flustered when meeting again. But Juana notices something on the mirror frame. What is it? It's a postcard. It has a photo of the 3 inkoinks on it. Maybe we can find something about their whereabouts. And here is the message written on the back of the card. Dear Pearl, we decided to become sailors and travel the seas. A very nice captain took us on his nice boat, and he says he will teach us a lot of things. He has a very goofy first officer and a black funny pet he calls My Precious. It looks like this, isn't it cute? Love, the inkoinks. Okay, now we can smell real trouble. What have those stupid little pigs gotten themselves into? And who is this nice captain? There is no time to lose. Dee is pointing to the emergency escape door, which leads to the club's secret water escape route, complete with water slide and a handy submarine. Luckily, the Turtle Club is the best place to start a rescue mission. This is just Juana and Porky needed. Meanwhile, we leave Juana and Porky for a bit to look at what is happening somewhere at sea. The mysterious black blob that Fat Sam was describing earlier is leaving the town by a drain pipe and is swimming towards a distant ship. In the second panel we meet our villain. It's Doc Mud and his helper Muddy, and the small inkoinks are not enjoying their sea adventure anymore. They are tied to the mast. What a cruel thing to do. But what is planning this evil mad pig scientist? Luckily for the heroes, the trail is still hot, even under the water. The whale does not look pleased, but our friends are certain the mysterious black creature is near. And there it is, a pirate ship, anchored near some ruins up on a rock, and a guarded entrance. This must be the villain's lair, but how will Juana and Porky get past those guards? Of course, using the next prompt, clock. First they have to wait for the night to fall, the guards to fall asleep, and with some daring climbing, they reach an open window, from which they can get a good look at what is happening inside. And there, in a corner, shut in a glass chamber, are the 3 inkoinks, and they look in a pitiful, weak state. The 2 nasty-looking pigs are also there. What is all this? Looks like the medieval scientist Doc Mud has built a new diabolical invention, an angular contraption that feeds a nasty dark creature with ink, insults, and little inkoink pig essence. The apparatus makes the creature grow. It's a big, swollen, black blob now. Doc Mud takes it out of the machine and they leave the lab, surely heading back to Pigtown for some more inky vandalism. But Juana and Porky are able to get into the lab unseen. On the wall there's the lab's notice board. Plan to enslave Pigtown by upsetting and dividing the pigs. Oh well, here goes duck mud again. Next prompt, battle. Juana and Porky hurry to rescue the inkoinks. The ink refill bottles on the lab shelves are a great pick-me-up for the little ink pigs. Next prompt, scorched. While the inkoinks regain their energy, Juana investigates and finds a scorched document inside the fireplace, of course. It has chemistry notations all over it, and the title Inkblabber Reversal Formula. This should be very helpful. Next prompt, breakable. There are a lot of breakable things in the lab. Let's trust Porky and his 3 friends with solving this prompt, while Juana sits down to prepare the special formula. Let's hope Juana will finish the formula in time, because Doc Mud and his now huge black pet are back in Pigtown, emerging from the drain system, and the Inkblabber is charged and ready to splatter his verbal abuse on every wall. Next morning, the mayor of Pigtown awakes to a grim reality. The town citizens are all complaining in front of his house. The town is going crazy, the mayor is lazy, and we find out that the matter of discontent is the rising price of the cleaning supplies needed to clean all that ink. The evil plan is working. The town's pigs are divided between ink haters and ink supporters, and things might get heated. In the midst of all, Maddie's campaign for mayor might succeed. Behind the scene we can see Doc Mud with an evil grin, and there are ominous puddles of ink oozing from under the podium. Now we get to the action part of the story. It's time for our heroes to step onto the stage, literally, and put an end to this nonsense. While Porky tries to make public Doc Mud's evil plan, he's getting here on stage holding the actual plan, Juana, Miss D and Detective Sam take out Doc and his gang in a surprising display of karate skills. But the fight quickly comes to an end when 3 very angry inkoinks jump in the middle of it all. They have been badly mistreated by Doc Mud, and we know from the past that if provoked, these small bubbly black pigs can become quite prickly and dangerous. So they chase the bad guys off the page. It looks like the heroes are winning the day, but we forgot about one thing. The poisonous Inkblabber itself. A storm is rising. The Inkblabber is stretching dark and huge, darkening the sky. And plip, there goes Juana with the handy reversal formula she prepared in the lab. And puff! Formula makes the blob shrink into a cute little white blob. Solved. Next prompt, thunder. Remember the newspaper at the beginning of the story? That small detail comes to the rescue of this prompt. A storm was announced to hit Pigtown, and thunder strikes as the evil gang, now under the eye of the police, tries to escape on its ship. And we can see the ship sinking. Let's see how everything has turned out for everybody for the last 4 prompts. After the storm cleared, Miss Merpig received a gift from Porky, an unusual but very cute little pet. She probably shouldn't use bad words around it. It is so sensitive. Juana and Porky are gifted Pigtown's key by the mayor. The citizens of Pigtown still have some work cleaning everything, but the reversal formula doubles the strength of ordinary detergent, so things will soon get back to normal. Everyone looks happy. Here are Fat Sam and Dee, Porky and the Inkoinks, a small pig who just wants to make bubbles, and do you wonder who these 2 characters are? They are my husband and my daughter, who always support me and inspire me in my pig adventures, because we all agree pigs are nice, and we love Pigtown. Meanwhile, far at sea, what happened to our bad pigs after they were shipwrecked? They seem relatively safe. Will they change their evil ways? Don't think so. Doc is already plotting fresh evil plans. but a jolt shakes the raft. Oops! And we reach the final prompt, slice, and the last page of our story. We are back in Juana's studio, and she's enjoying a slice of cake. It's a cake from Sam. On the wall there is a new Pigtown Gazette page, which reads, Pigtown clean, ink oinkers innocent. Here is the key to Pigtown, and a memento from the previous adventure, a Pigtown medal. And do you see the calendar? That's a discreet note on me finishing the challenge and the story a bit, almost a month late. But better late than never, right? Will Juana be able to peacefully eat her cake? Maybe. The end. I hope you enjoyed Porky's adventure. This experimental story building game was really fun for me and taught me a lot about making comics. To thank you for joining in, I would be glad to share with you some details about my process. The prompt list for the Inktober challenge is released sometime before the beginning of October. So there is some time to get ideas started, but I never managed to get all the story laid out beforehand. I just figured out the starting point, and on the 1st of October I got to work with what I had then. While drawing each day's image, I was constantly trying to come up with the rest of the story. At each step I was trying to clarify my ideas at least for the next 2 or 3 days, so I could place in advance all the details needed to support the continuation of the plot. And early on I started to work on the ending and thinking in reverse the last prompts of the story, because I was worried about things getting out of hand and not having a nice proper ending. To help me generate ideas, I used a kind of mind map on sheets of paper and post-its. I also carried a notebook around, in case a piece of my story puzzle clicked into place while I was, say, doing something else. To keep myself accountable, I showed my progress to my family, posted each drawing on Instagram, and also sent it to close friends, but I did not manage to be always ready on time, and as I said, I actually finished the last page on November 24. This is a difficult and consuming kind of challenge, so I was lucky to get it completed. Building a story over random prompts almost felt like I was discovering something that was already there, solving a puzzle, and I was as surprised at how the story turned out as I think a casual reader might be. I loved reading comic books in my childhood, and I always knew that at one point I will make comics myself. I just took some time to get there. Now I'm on a fun and interesting journey, and it feels good to share it with you like this. So, thank you, and see you again next time.